there, Cam here from Training Tilt. Welcome to this week's episode of Endurance Coaching Business. Thanks for coming by. I want to jump back on the topic of AI in coaching. Things have settled down a bit now. A few months ago, I wrote a post and recorded a video and podcast called The AI Coaching Hype Cycle that describes the cycle that all technology goes through, particularly brand new, innovative technology, and AI is sort of going through that cycle at the moment, settled down a little bit at the moment. So that's an interesting read if you want to maybe figure out how things might progress over time with AI and coaching. So there's a lot of hype up front, it slows down a bit, then people think that it's oversold because it is, and then things settle down, and we're sort of maybe in the settling down phase now. Anyway, we'll jump back into today's topic, which is I want to talk about a couple of different approaches to using AI in your coaching business. One is as a collaborator, like an assistant coach, and one is like a vending machine where you just ask the AI for something and then it spits it out. So let's jump into it. So use AI as a coaching collaborator, not a vending machine. So there, I've already given away my position on those two ways of using AI. So there's been a lot of progress happening with AI coaching platforms right now. So they're not just spitting out generic training plans anymore. Many of them can pull in detailed training history, analyze files, track recovery metrics, and then take that data and use it to adjust plans automatically, even like if an athlete skips a workout, etc., or maybe their workouts were harder than they thought, that sort of thing. So on the surface, that looks like coaching, but it really isn't. So even with all of that data, AI still misses what matters most. So it doesn't hear the hesitation in an athlete's voice. It doesn't know that when someone says, I'm just a bit tired, that there's context behind that, and what they really mean is they lost 3 nights of sleep because their baby was sick. It doesn't know when they say, oh, my knee feels a bit tight, that actually could be the first sign of an injury instead of just normal soreness. So a coach will dig into those things. And it can't sense when motivation has slipped, can't see the athlete's eyes, it can't hear the hesitation in their voice, and it can't determine whether or not what an athlete really needs is just a bit of encouragement, not another hard interval session. So the other thing is athletes themselves, if they're being coached directly by AI platforms, they don't know what context matters either, because they don't know all of the inputs that a coach needs to do good coaching. So even if the AI learns to ask the right questions of athletes don't know the depth of answer they should give, because they don't have a coach there prompting them further or digging in, asking a question, getting a reply, and then asking further questions based on that. And then the other thing is, even if the AI could ask all of those questions, the athlete doesn't know how deep to go. So they might just, because they're talking to AI, they don't give it the same respect. They want to save time on typing, so they don't give it all the context that a coach would push for. So even with all of the smart algorithms and loads of data, AI-only coaching will still fall short because it captures all the numbers but not all the nuance. So because of that, AI isn't going to replace good coaches, but coaches who don't learn how to use AI properly might get left behind. So from what I've seen currently, and this is not just in coaching, it's all industries, there's a lot of AI slop out there. So, everyone's guilty of it sometimes, and I think people will find the right balance. But this happens when you're treating AI as a vending machine, whether you just give it some quick prompts, it spits out a result, and you just take it and do something with it. So you're either just accepting whatever comes out, or maybe you're even dismissing the AI because of the poor results you get, and you blame it on the AI itself rather than the lack of context that you gave it. So some short examples: build me a 12-week triathlon plan for an athlete preparing for a half Ironman who currently trains 6 hours a week. So you've given it some information, but you haven't given it injury history, age, travel schedule, lifestyle constraints, their goals, all of those things that are important. Next one, write 10 social media posts to promote my coaching business, highlighting endurance training tips. Okay, but you're not clarifying what your coaching style is, what your principles are, what your audience demographics are, what your key differentiators are as a coach compared to the other coaches on the market. Another one, draft a detailed nutrition guide for marathon runners, but you're not noting whether the athletes have dietary constraints or whether they need more or less guidance for fueling on long runs. Do they have a history of fueling badly? All of those sorts of things. So yes, those basic prompts will give you something, but without your context, your philosophy, and your experience layered in, then it's just another generic output, and generic coaching doesn't inspire trust or keep athletes loyal. So the difference between average coaches and great coaches in this new AI era, and it won't be whether coaches use AI or not, it'll be how well they use it. So the coaches who will thrive will treat AI like a collaborator, not a vending machine. So that sort of means making sure that you feed it in all of your context. So your coaching philosophy, your athletes' real needs, your own voice, your own tone, and you are using it to offload admin so you can spend more time in real conversations with athletes. And an overarching principle is that you are using AI to amplify your expertise, not to replace it. So if you're a good coach now and you use AI well, then you'll be a good coach into the future as well. So because of that, AI doesn't make coaches obsolete, but it does make shallow coaching a lot less valuable. So in the end, we all know that coaching's never been about just prescribing and modifying training plans based on data. It's about curiosity, it's about listening, it's about guiding athletes through the messy human side of performance that no digital algorithms can really capture. So the coaches who embrace AI as a collaborator, not a vending machine, will be the ones who thrive. So that's it for today. Let me know what you think. Also, if you have had any interesting results with AI, good or bad, I'd love to hear how you were using it. Yeah, that's just really interesting to me. At the moment, I'm sure there's a broad range of the way you might be using it. I know I'm sort of tweaking and developing my process with AI all of the time. So let me know if you've been doing something interesting. I'd love to hear it. Anyway, talk to you again soon.